Welcome to the Serenity Solutions podcast number 28. Okay, I don't really know what I was going to talk about today, so something I've been thinking about lately from listening to some music and some particular songs is possibly halfway through my life, and people my age and friends and family, or maybe not family so much, but if we make it to 90, we are kind of halfway. And then I was like, oh no, am I having a crisis the other day? But the other thing I've been thinking about is, I've been hustling for a while, working really hard, trying to do other things other than all the things I went to school for, and just like adding to my income, adding to my resume, all that kind of thing. And just wondering, and then I think of the YOLO, you only live once thing, and trying to find a balance and slipping into the feminine recently, and just like being okay with not hustling all the time, and being okay with just focusing on my one career rather than many different things. And then thinking of that, how much of this life do we have left, and wanting to enjoy that. And you get the idea, I think. And I just think it's important. I've been talking to some people about, finding the joy in life and enjoying and being grateful and doing more of what you love and relaxing a little bit rather than work, and no play. And I think that is okay. And we need to feel okay doing that, because otherwise you're working, and you don't get to live that much. And what if we don't live until 90 or whatever, right? And I know, like, my dad didn't get to retire. He worked all of his life. So sometimes, our lives are cut short. And so that is what came to mind today. And then I read this chapter from the Let Them Theory book about let them think bad thoughts about you, and who are we doing these things for, and we need to make ourselves proud. And Mel Robbins talks about that, like at the end of this chapter, which is chapter 5, how, trying to juggle many different things, like a birthday party of a friend that is like hours away, and then your parents are visiting, or your grandparents are visiting at your parents' house, and that's another 4-hour drive. And she juggled both and did both to make yourself proud, not to make others proud, because the friend ended up being a bit disappointed that she left after the first night, and the parents were disappointed that she didn't get there till the second night. So it's like, just let them think that, like, you did what you thought was right. You felt good about what you did. You made yourself proud by going to your friend's birthday, but also making your parents happy and your grandparents happy that you visited when your grandparents were in town. The point of that was to let people think bad thoughts if that's what they're going to do, because this chapter was all about how people are going to think negative thoughts about you anyways, and even people you know and love think bad thoughts of you all the time. And sometimes those people are more critical of you than anyone else, really. But yeah, Mel gives the example of her husband farting first thing in the morning. Like, that's gross, and she doesn't like when he does that, but she still loves him. Or her dog being obsessive about dinner, and that's annoying at the time because he's jumping on her and stuff. or her son being rude in the mornings because he doesn't want to talk to anybody, that kind of thing. So, for example, if you have a wedding to go to and you can only go for the reception and you can't go to the after party or whatever, or that might be what the after party is. Like, you can go to the actual ceremony, but you can't go to the reception, and that would make you proud, then maybe that's what you should do. Instead of worrying about what everyone else thinks, because they're going to think badly of you anyways if you stay for an hour or whatever. But if you go to the ceremony and maybe go to the reception for an hour, or just go to the ceremony, which is the important part to you, to be there for your friend, then that should be what you do to make yourself happy rather than worrying about what everybody else thinks. Or attending your parents' 40th anniversary for the first half because you have to get up early because you have to study for an exam. At least you went to that first half, you made yourself proud. I'm sure your parents would understand that you need to study, and you'll make yourself proud when you do well on that exam. So you get the idea, but also relate back to like life and what we're doing with it, and we need to make ourselves happy in this life, and we need to do what we want to do and not worry so much about what other people think. Because the important part is making ourselves happy, and I've always been told by my parents, like, whatever makes you happy, that's the most important thing. And so that was always something that I strived for. And recently when I stopped, hustling and bustling so much and did more of what I love, like, it does really make me happy. And I enjoy those things, and I'm doing way more of that. So, it is helpful. And I just think it's important to like kind of make sure you're doing what you want, because our lives are short when you think about it, and make yourselves proud and not worry so much about what other people think. All right, so for the next little part, I'm going to do a little mindfulness exercise. I'm going to do a couple stress less cards, and then I'm going to end with, I think, an oracle reading today. Just pull a card randomly. And all of these things I'm doing randomly. So this little mindfulness exercise says it's a 5-minute exercise, and it says, how are you feeling? Maybe something I just said provoked you, or made you feel different, or made you think of something, made you have some feelings about something. Sorry, I just gotta let my cat in here. Check your breathing. I'm just gonna check mine and see what it feels like. I think my breathing did speed up, and I'm not sure why. I might be excited about the passions that I have and the happy things that are happening lately. But it says, by observing your breath, you can make a difference to how you feel. Breath is life energy. When we restrict our breathing, we diminish our life energy. Feeling agitated and indecisive is often accompanied by shallow breathing. Try this technique to enhance your breathing. Deep breathing expands the lungs, which then send a direct message to your heart, which in turn starts beating slower. Take a moment to get closer to your breathing, to befriend it. Is it shallow or deep? Slow or fast? Smooth or rough? Regular or irregular? Do you tend to push it or hold it? If you explore your breathing with this curiosity, you will get a good insight into where you are right now. So I'm just going to take a second to think of those things. So is it shallow or deep? Slow or fast? Smooth or rough? Regular or irregular? And are you pushing it or holding it? Sometimes I hold mine, unfortunately. I just did it again. From this baseline, you can notice any differences. If you continue to watch your breathing, you can experience a more energetic self and achieve joy and a zest for life again. So this is a reminder to slow down again and examine your breath. So that is the little mindfulness exercise. Now I'm going to do the stress less cards. So I'm just going to pull a couple stress less cards randomly. And it says, try a healthy new recipe for number 1. I haven't done that in a while, so I should probably do that again. I was looking at the recipe. It was stuffed yams or like sweet potatoes with like spinach. This person had mushrooms, and I don't really like mushrooms, so I would put something else, but maybe another veggie like peppers, onions, spinach, and feta cheese. Sounds good, so I might try that one day. The next card says, know your limits. Don't agree to plans and projects that you know you have no energy for. So that's a good one that relates to this podcast. Make yourself proud. Don't worry about what everybody else is going to think. If you need to say no to something, that is okay. Especially if you don't have energy for it. All right. Last thing I'm going to do here. I'm reading from the Stressless cards. Oh, there's no author for those. But the Oracle cards are by Ravian Phelan. And I'm just going to shuffle them and think about, what do I need right now? What do I want? What is going on? What is happening? Just shuffling. What do I need to know? And whoever's listening, this might relate to you as well. It likely relates to me, but also should relate to you if you've taken the time to listen. All right, first of all, it's upside down. Yikes. It says, embrace the dark. And it's number 9, which isn't usually a significant number to me. But there's a black cat, a woman in black gown and black hair, and then an angel in the background with a little fairy sitting on a rock and a full moon. I think it's a new moon right now. But let's look at the meaning of this. It must have some sort of meaning. Okay. You have been taught that all is either good or evil, negative or positive. Good gives rise to good, and bad gives rise to bad. It is wrong to have feelings of anger, dislike, or fear, as these emotions are born of our shadow self. This is not truth. Everything happens for a reason. Love can give rise to destruction, and hate can inspire acts of genuine love. The lessons offered by our shadow often teach us the most. Know your shadow self. Love it. Without the darkness, the stars cannot be seen. And the next card, which is funny because I just mentioned the diving into the feminine that I did recently, is embrace the feminine. So I'm just going to read that as well because it's kind of sticking out to me. So it's card number 10. It says, within ourselves, there are 2 aspects to our nature, the feminine and the masculine. Here in the present, you need to embrace the feminine aspect of your nature and let it guide your steps. Now is a time to be nurturing, creative, and to connect with nature, home, and heart. Listen to your intuition and emotions. Be receptive and compassionate. But remember, whilst you allow your feminine self to be dominant, you need to temper your gentleness with a fire that denies all meekness. And that's a lady, looks like she's pregnant, holding an egg. And she's like naked with really long hair and a mask-like face. Okay. I think I'm going to just pull one numerology card just because I'm kind of liking this. I think the Embrace the Dark kind of relates to this podcast about like you only live once, living your life, not worrying so much about what people think, and that it's okay to do what you want that makes you proud and not worry so much about others. I don't know if that would relate to you, but maybe you get what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm just going to pull another numerology card. This is by Michelle Buchanan. And just one numerology card, and then I'm going to let you go. Okay, 55, adventure. Okay, so that's a cool number that's been coming up for me lately. More like 555, the angel number, but 55 is a good number for me right now. So this card indicates a need to see your life as an adventure. No one knows what will happen tomorrow, so why not make the most of today? If that's not what I just talked about a few minutes ago, I don't know what is. So funny, when I do these numerology cards, they always relate to my podcast. So by drawing this card, you're being encouraged to step out of the rut of your everyday life to experience exciting new things. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. Just a couple of minor adjustments can add a little adventure and zing. This is a time to be inquisitive and daring. You might want to rearrange your furniture or experiment with new styles of clothing. Perhaps you could eat a different type of food, take up a new hobby, or go on an overseas voyage. Sometimes a new version of something familiar is enough to shake things up. Even a random act of kindness can be an adventure in itself. In order to improve your current situation, you are being asked to adjust to and harmonize with the natural rhythm and cycles of your life, cycles that are leading you toward new experiences and adventures. You've got people to meet and plenty of things to see, so open yourself up to the unknown, revitalize your soul, and broaden your horizons. Adventure stimulates the life force and enhances your connection to Source. Affirmation: I broaden my life experience and therefore expand the growth of my soul. I was just hiking in the forest and I was thinking, I always think about, I think about my podcast and what to talk about, but also like that's usually an adventure when I'm in the forest because being brave with the wild animals around and could smell some, things that maybe we shouldn't be smelling. But it just reminded me of like also embracing life and you only live once thing, and just how helpful it is. And I thought about forest bathing, and I always feel like it's an adventure, and my dog loves it, and it's just such a peaceful thing to do. So just wanted to add that in there. And every little new path we go on or different way we go adds adventure. And my dog would go up one path and then he'd want to go back another way, and just like really varied it up. And I'm like, we're going right back to where we were a second ago. But he just wants to try new things and try new paths. And it's like an inspiration to me. He always inspires me. He's so smart and adventurous and brave, but he also won't go certain spots. Like if he smells something, he turns around. And he was rolling probably on old deer remnants because he knows to disguise himself with the kills that the wild animals have already made. So, he teaches me new things all the time. But, yeah, that's all I've got for today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Stay calm, cool, serene. And I'll see you next Sunday.